There's no question that generative AI is completely changing how we build software. We're seeing these incredible promises of insane productivity boosts. But just below the surface, there's a really big problem brewing. It's a paradox, really, one that pits that raw speed against long-term stability. So if you're a CTO or an engineering leader, this is the question you need to be asking yourself right now. I mean, sure, your teams are shipping code faster than ever before, but what's the real cost? Are you actually building a lasting competitive advantage? Or are you, maybe without even knowing it, racking up a massive debt that could seriously cripple you down the road? And look, this isn't just a feeling. The data tells the story. On the one hand, you've got these productivity gains, up to 55%. I mean, any executive sees a number like that and their eyes light up, right? But on the other hand, almost half of your developers, the people on the front lines, simply do not trust the code that AI is spitting out. And that gap right there, the one between speed and certainty, that is the AI trust paradox. So what's behind all this distrust? Well, it's a brand new phenomenon that's just kind of sweeping through engineering teams everywhere, and it has a name: vibe coding. So what is vibe coding? It's basically when a developer just describes the feel of what they want to an AI. Make a button that feels modern and snappy, and the AI goes off and generates the code. The huge problem here is that this completely disconnects the developer's intent from the actual architecture. So yeah, the code might seem to work at first glance, but the structure underneath, it could be a total house of cards, ready to collapse. And this is causing a massive shift in what it even means to be a developer. Your engineers, they're no longer the authors, carefully crafting logic and holding this complex mental map of the entire system in their head. Instead, they're turning into reviewers, just sort of glancing over code they didn't write and have no deep connection to. And that leads to this really dangerous loss of context and mastery across your entire team. And the consequences, well, they're pretty severe. Your developers lose that deep, gut-level understanding of the code base. The AI pumps out code that looks right, which creates this illusion of competence that can hide some really serious flaws. Core problem-solving skills start to fade. And maybe the scariest part, we're seeing the return of spaghetti code, these tangled, unstructured messes that we, as an industry, spent decades learning how to get away from. Okay, so this isn't just some academic, technical problem. No, this has a staggering, real-world impact on the bottom line that every single leader needs to get their head around. $2.41 trillion. Let that sink in for a second. That's the estimated cost of poor software quality just in the US economy. And that is not a made-up number. It's the real cost of system failures, of security breaches, of thousands of engineering hours just wasted fixing bad code. And unchecked vibe coding, it's on track to make that number go way, way higher. This whole thing is creating a new and, frankly, much more dangerous kind of technical debt. We're calling it comprehension debt. It's what happens when your team is responsible for a codebase that no one really understands because an AI wrote it. And here's the kicker. Unlike normal tech debt, the interest on this stuff is exponential. The less you understand the code, the harder and riskier every single change becomes, until eventually you just grind to a halt. When you look at the total cost of ownership, the picture becomes painfully clear. Vibe coding looks fast and cheap up front, but the long-term costs, they skyrocket. Your annual maintenance bill could literally double. Code reuse just tanks because it's easier for a developer to ask an AI for a new snippet than to find a solid existing solution. And you're opening the door to a whole new class of AI-native security risks that we're only just beginning to understand. And all of this debt, it acts like a tax, an innovation tax. Think about it, as much as 20 cents of every dollar you budget for that cool, new, game-changing project is just thrown away, fighting the complexity of the systems you already have. It is a direct drain on your ability to actually innovate and pull ahead of the competition. Okay, so that's the problem. It's a big one. How do we fix this? How do we get all the amazing speed of AI without taking on this catastrophic debt? Well, the answer isn't to run away from the technology. Not at all. It's to manage it with discipline and rigor. And let me be perfectly clear on this. This is not about being anti-AI. It's about being pro-engineering. The real solution is to take this incredibly powerful new tool and wrap it in a framework of proven, solid engineering principles that we know work. So the solution really starts with going back to basics, applying these timeless foundational pillars of clean code to this very modern problem. Things like readability, testability, scalability, and security. These have to be non-negotiable, now more than ever.
Any code, especially AI-generated code, that doesn't meet these standards, it gets rejected. Simple as that.
So here's a really practical framework you can take back to your team tomorrow. It's called the traffic light protocol. You've got your green zone. This is for stuff like boilerplate code, unit tests, simple prototypes. Go crazy with AI here. Then there's the yellow zone. This is for business logic, where AI assists, but a human engineer verifies every single line. And finally, the red zone. This is your core intellectual property, your security components, your financial systems. Here, AI is heavily restricted or maybe even banned outright. This puts your team back in control.
When you really think about it, this whole paradox is forcing an evolution of the engineer's role. It's actually elevating it. We're moving away from being bricklayers, just focused on that line-by-line code. We're becoming the architects, the ones who design the blueprint, who set the high-level standards, and who orchestrate AI to do the heavy lifting for us.
This right here, this should be the new mantra for every single high-performing engineering team. It's all about strategic design over just tactical, quick and dirty implementation. Your most valuable people won't be the fastest coders. They'll be the ones who can build robust, maintainable systems by using AI as a tool inside a brilliant architectural vision.
So I'll leave you with this final critical question. As you go deeper and deeper with AI in your workflow, you have to ask, are those speed gains you're seeing building a solid foundation for the future? Or are you just quickly putting up a beautiful facade that's hiding a structure that's about to crumble? Because the choice you make on that right now will absolutely define your company's technical future.